Welcome to The Explainer. Artificial intelligence in medicine isn't just a far-off concept anymore. It's not science fiction. It's here. And today, we're going to explore how it's fundamentally reshaping the entire journey of a doctor, starting from their very first day in med school all the way to the absolute cutting edge of clinical research. So let's start with this question, because it really gets to the heart of a huge shift that's happening right now. Our story begins exactly where every doctor's does, in medical school. But the training itself is going through a massive overhaul, and it's all thanks to AI. For the longest time, medical training has relied on something called standardized patients. Basically, they're actors who are paid to pretend they have various illnesses. And while it's a time-tested method, it's also a major bottleneck. It's incredibly expensive, it's really hard to scale up, and it means that most students only get to see a pretty narrow range of cases before they're face-to-face with a real person. But a recent study in NPJ Digital Medicine is pointing to a really radical alternative. What if, instead of using actors, students could practice on an AI? Researchers have developed what they call a large language model digital patient. Just think of it like a conversational AI that's been built from the ground up to be the perfect practice patient. It's infinitely patient, it's available 24/7, and it can simulate almost any condition imaginable.
So, how does this actually work? Well, the system essentially reads and learns from thousands of real, completely anonymized health records. It then uses that information to create these interactive, voice-enabled digital patients. This lets students practice everything from taking a medical history to navigating really complex, emotional conversations, all in a totally safe and repeatable environment.
That is the million-dollar question, right? I mean, it sounds cool, but is it more effective? To find out, the researchers didn't just build the system and call it a day. They put it to the test with a rigorous, randomized, controlled trial, directly comparing students who trained with the AI against those who used the traditional methods.
And the results were, frankly, staggering. On average, the students who trained with the AI scored over 10 points higher on their final clinical exams. Now, that's not just a minor bump, that's a massive leap forward. It suggests this kind of AI training doesn't just supplement the old way of doing things, it might actually be better.
But the benefits really went beyond just grades. The students also said they felt way more confident, and get this, they even showed greater empathy after their AI training. This means the tool isn't just creating better test takers, it's helping shape more capable and more compassionate future doctors.
Okay, so AI can clearly help train doctors. That's a huge deal. But what happens once they're actually in the clinic, facing the day-to-day pressures of patient care? Can AI step in and act as a kind of digital assistant?
Well, a study in JAMA Network Open gives us a perfect example of this in action. Researchers decided to tackle a really common but often missed issue in pediatrics: sleep problems in children. Their solution was a smart, simple screening tool designed to fit perfectly into a doctor's existing and very busy workflow.
And the process they came up with is brilliantly simple. Before a routine checkup, parents just fill out a short electronic questionnaire about their child's sleep habits. Those results then automatically pop up in the child's health record for the doctor to see. And, this is the magic part, the system instantly provides the doctor with hyperlinked, age-specific resources that are tailored directly to that family's answer.
The impact here was just dramatic. After they implemented this tool, referrals to sleep specialists jumped by almost 650%. And that's the critical takeaway here. The screener wasn't just some passive data collector. It was an active tool that directly and immediately changed clinical decisions for the better.
And here's the real secret to why it worked so well. People actually used it. The tool was adopted in nearly 90% of all well-child visits across dozens of different practices. It wasn't seen as an extra burden or another box to check. It was just a simple, helpful nudge that fit seamlessly into a doctor's incredibly demanding day.
So, we've gone from the classroom to the clinic, and we've seen the immediate impact AI can have. Now let's zoom out and turn to the world of medical research, where AI is being used to tackle one of science's oldest and biggest challenges: the overwhelming flood of data.
To really get a handle on this challenge, just put yourself in the shoes of a medical researcher. You're trying to synthesize all the existing evidence on a single topic. You run one search on a database like PubMed for, say, cancer meta-analyses, and you get back a tidal wave of information. over 46,000 studies. Trying to sift through that manually is a monumental, if not impossible, task.
So, to tackle this data overload, researchers developed an AI called TrialMind. You can think of it as a superpowered research assistant, one that's been specifically trained to do all the most tedious work, instantly finding the right studies, screening out all the irrelevant ones, and pulling out the most important data.
And the difference in performance is just night and day. TrialMind found nearly 80% of all the relevant studies for a given topic. A standard manual human search, less than 20%. And what's really interesting is that a powerful but general-purpose AI like GPT-4 did even worse. It just goes to show you that for complex scientific work, you need specialized AI tools.
This kind of data-driven approach is now leading to an even more powerful and futuristic concept, the digital twin. At its core, a digital twin is exactly what it sounds like, a virtual model of a patient built from tons of real-world health data that can be used to simulate how a disease might progress or respond to a new treatment. By analyzing data from literally millions of real patients, these systems can build virtual models that are so accurate they can actually stand in as a digital placebo group in a clinical trial. This is absolutely revolutionary. It means researchers can project how a standard treatment would perform without having to recruit as many real people for the control arms of a trial. That makes trials faster, cheaper, and frankly, more ethical.
Now, all of this sounds incredible, right? Almost revolutionary. But implementing these powerful tools isn't nearly as simple as just installing a new piece of software. There are very real, very critical challenges that the entire healthcare world has to navigate carefully.
You see, for any of this to actually work in the real world, we have to get the human factors right. The data itself has to be diverse, otherwise we risk building bias tools that only work for certain groups of people. The tools have to integrate seamlessly, not add to the alert fatigue that already plagues doctors. And maybe most importantly, these systems can't just be black boxes. A doctor needs to understand why an AI is making a certain recommendation before they can ever trust it with a patient's health.
And this quote really gets to the fundamental limit of AI in medicine. As physicians point out, so much of what goes into making a good treatment plan, a person's values, their life situation, their hopes and fears, that stuff just can't be captured in a data set. So ultimately, AI has to be a tool that serves human judgment, not a replacement for it.
Which leaves us with this final, really provocative thought. As all these tools continue to move from the classroom to the clinic, the debate probably isn't about AI replacing doctors. The real question is this: will the doctors who learn to use AI end up replacing the doctors who don't?